Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to Manor Lords. So we are going to kick things off with an aggressive start. I've decided I am fed up with the bandit camp, so there's nothing more for it. We are going to call out militia. Let's set a rallying point and summon them up. Come on, grab your spears. I absolutely love it. Okay, so we've got some of the troop commands. Look at them out, they all come running out. That is so cool. So, yeah, so we've got this bandit camp on the other side. So while our militia is forming up down here, we can see we've got our bandit camp over here. This is the one that keeps stealing some food from us, and I just want to have a go at dealing with it. I have no idea how easy or hard this is actually going to be, but we're going to give it a go.
My lord!
This is so cool. Can you form up into a line? Oh, you can.
Pick up the bow!
This is fantastic. I love it. They look so cool. Okay, right. Let's get on the march. I think we'll turn off run to positions because they've got a long way to go.
March!
So, we have ended up in a situation where we are moving through the woods. I'm actually going to try and get out of here really kind of quickly because I want to get out onto the flat and level ground if possible and form up at least before they hit into me. I was trying to avoid going up this hill so we didn't have to fight where we're basically climbing up a hill. Come on, you peasants, form up. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Let's get into a position.
Your orders?
We can see their effectiveness. We are on a slight rise, maybe, but it's not too bad. Okay, they're charging in. Brace. Okay, the combat is on. What's their effectiveness? 102. They have a slight high ground advantage. And our cohesion has dropped slightly in the combat. Equal on the fatigue though at the moment, and we do outnumber them very slightly, so I'm hoping, particularly on some of these flanks, we can maybe push them back. Come on. I feel like we're somehow gaining the upper hand. I think at some point we're going to start making the push. We have the option to try and push forward, to try and take the initiative. Because they're starting to tire out, I think we're going to make that move. Let's go for it. Push forwards. Yes, we killed a few. One of them's dead down here. Come on. Keep the pressure on. Yeah, we're starting to push them forward now. We're starting to get them on the back foot. Oh, we've lost someone. Someone's died. No. Yes, we've broken them. Need to pursue? I suppose not. I suppose we need to go over to this bandit camp over here. Well, I'm really pleased with how that went. I did kind of think that we might end up being a bit defeated. Searching through the enemy, you find a stash of goods. They absolutely belong to my treasury now. Oh, nice. 158 silver. Cool. Well, that panned out. Okay, let's get the militia back and we can disband them. So, whilst that fun with the militia has been ongoing and whilst they're on their return, what else has been going on in town? Looks like we've actually now got the sheep farm built, which is good. And I think we've actually had a new family move in as well, which is nice. Just still finishing off the livestock trading post, so once that's done, we should at least be able to get some sheep purchased. We've still got some more Burgess plots, that's looking good. Our food and fuel situation, again, are both looking pretty reasonable, to be honest. Have they finished ploughing the field for the winter wheat? Yes, they have, but they've still got a little bit of sowing left to do. And then once they've done that, hopefully they'll finish thrashing that wheat, and then we'll have to assign someone back to the mill. We also, our little stone man, has been producing quite a lot of stone down here. But there's a lot of things we still need to think about. We've got an iron deposit over here, something that we really need to think about maybe starting to harvest, because we really want to be starting to produce iron bars, because let's face it, at some point we're going to need to start producing weapons, shields, armour. And to do that we're probably going to need iron. These made it back to friendly territory. Yes, they have. So we can expand that unit now. Cool. Well, I'd say our first little combat exploration has been very successful. Look at them all. All the men now returning to their day jobs, home from the military. Oh, nice. And our livestock trading post has just been finished. So, we definitely need to assign someone here because we want to trade here. So, we want sheep. I want to import sheep, and they cost 30 each. I'd like to have a surplus of 2 because we do actually just have just over 60. I'm assuming this is regional wealth, not like treasury wealth. I don't actually know that to be the case, but in either or works. So let's try and buy 2 sheep, and then once we get them we can put them in the pasture, and then we can move the person working on the trading post over to the sheep farm. We also need to think about, we have got now, well, 12 families by the looks of it, and only 13 homes. So we need to think about building a few more plots. I did see this corner thing here and thought that this looked possibly like quite a nice little viable plot at some point. Just got to think about how easy that is going to be to squeeze one in there. I like trying to fit these houses in weird and wonderful locations. Get one in there probably. Yeah, and the tree will survive, which is even better. I wonder if we can just squeeze one in here. Oh, and we can give them a really big back garden, look. Let's do that. I just want to make our little village seem a bit more dense. I like that about this, you know, this sort of the village centre. Everyone should be wanting to live around this village centre, so we've got to try and cram these buildings and these houses into as tight a spaces as we can manage. At least that's what I'm aiming for anyway. Now this chap walking along here, he looks very well equipped. I like his little frying pan that he's got hanging off his basket. I'm assuming this man may, despite appearances, have some sheep with him. Or at least that's my hope, and he's going to stop in at the livestock trader. Are they dragging a log across my ploughed field? I mean, that is pretty rude. How dare you? Oh, it's actually sunny again. It stopped raining for like the first time in a million years. Now that is a rare luxury. So, mining. So we can build ourselves a mining pit. And, well, the iron over here is the obvious place for us to start to go for. Our actual stone is actually quite, well, high now. We've got quite a lot of it. So what I'm thinking about is, just curve this road down to here, is let's take the person off this stone deposit once this obviously gets built. Because, I mean, how much stone do we really need? We've not really got any buildings currently that utilise stone, and we've already got 57 stone. So let's take this guy off the stonecutter's camp and throw him and start producing some iron ore instead. And then from that we can probably produce a blacksmith or something that can produce tools, weapons and all that sort of thing. I think actually the weapon production is done at a household level. It is. So we have things like, yeah, you can have a blacksmith's workshop, produces tools, weapons, spears and sidearms. Brewery, wooden parts, cobbler's workshop, lots of little cool things that can be done. That's how we get some of these more interesting things. But yeah, let's start to get this iron being produced first. We have a sheep! A sheep! It's happened! Someone's... Katerina! We have a sheep! She's going somewhere. Nice, okay. And we did spend regional wealth. Okay, good. Cool to know. So, realistically, we could kind of do with putting someone on there, couldn't we? How's this farm doing? Have they finished sowing yet? 99%. So, let's take someone off the farm. We'll throw them on the sheep farm.
We need more workers here.
Nice. I'm glad we're actually going to get sheep. Obviously, we're going to go into winter now, so it's basically going to make these sheep completely redundant almost immediately, but still, it's going to set us up well going forwards, and so I think it is a good thing to have. I've also forgot, actually, we've got a spare development point as well, haven't we? Because I think last I did sheep breeding so they grow on pasture slowly. But we have also got a few other options that we can do. There's things down the bottom like deep mining. I mean, that would be kind of handy. And there's also some of the armour making lines which could be useful. I feel like we've chopped around a little bit all over the place on this tech tree of this town, which perhaps wasn't very helpful. Maybe we'll save this for a different place and we'll manufacture our armour in a different town. We could do some more of the skinning stuff. Or maybe we should think about a farming settlement. Yeah, let's go farming. We'll go for a heavy plough. That seems like we can't go too wrong with that. Although it does mean we're going to have to get ourselves another oxen at some point to be able to actually do this. Elsewise, our little weirdly shaped houses are coming along quite nicely. I love some of these. We've got one over here as well, just filling in this end plot. Which is really starting to make our village feel a little bit more developed over here in the centre. Little whiffs of smoke coming out the chimneys. I love it, I love it. Okay, so that is our mining pit fully built. I can hardly speak English. So let's nab this person off the stonecutter's camp and just stick them straight over to the mining pit. We've actually almost depleted this stone deposit, to be honest. This is where I think the things like, well, not in that case, but for this one you can have deep mines. So that's, I guess, the benefit of doing that is, I think then it becomes basically an infinite resource. Whereas at the moment our iron deposit is quite limited, so it could run out. So obviously if we're going to be producing iron ore, we are going to need a furnace, which is going to be this thing. Which I suppose feels wrong somehow to put right next to the church. So we'll stick it over in our little industrial quarter. But then that should hopefully start to produce as iron bars, and that's what we can then use in some of the artisans to produce spears and shields and other sort of weapons and things that we need. So we've got our blueberry built, and I'm going to give it some fuel. I don't know how much fuel this thing is actually going to burn. I think that's one thing we have got to keep a bit of an eye on for our woodcutters lodge, is that we've sort of been teetering around 11 months of fuel now for quite a while. I wonder if as our population is starting to increase, we're almost burning as much fuel as this poor man is able to actually cut by himself. So we've just got to keep a bit of an eye on that. I don't know if we've produced... Oh, we're trying to get some iron ore. Oh, another family joined the plot. I thought a new family had moved in. That would have been nice, but sadly no. So we've just got to keep a bit an eye on a bit on how much fuel that is actually going to start to consume. Make sure we don't end up having a crisis as we go into winter. Well, winter is properly starting to settle in now in our little village. The snows are coming. This is probably going to be the hardest bit. I think we're going to be fine. We've got more than enough food, and even with the double consumption of firewood, we should be okay. And in the worst case, we can always assign a second person over to the firewood cutter so it starts to produce sort of a double speed. So I think we're going to be absolutely fine. So it also looks like the last of our grain has now been used up as well and fully all converted into flour. So I'm going to take this person off the windmill and put him back on the communal oven. So we should have at least a steady supply of bread now being produced through the winter months. At least that's the plan. I also love the fact that as it's continuing to snow, the snow coverage is slowly getting heavier and heavier. I absolutely love it. Oh, our second sheep has also arrived. Very nice, very nice. So that means we basically have brought all the sheep that we're going to, so we can nab this person back off the livestock trader. Nothing really to do there now, because, well, we've done our importing. So hopefully these sheep can now just be bred. Probably not over winter. It's not going to be the most productive time, but it frees up another family as well. And we are actually now getting iron slabs. So with that spare family, I wonder if we've got enough money, which I'm not sure we have. Let's have a look. If we could think about building like a blacksmith shop. Tools, spears and sidearms. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. It's going to take a family away from us. Hopefully, basically auto replaces whatever family was assigned to the building that I've just nabbed them off. And then once this gets constructed, hopefully we can then actually have access to a blacksmith. This can be like the sort of productivity row where these sort of 4 houses are our main artisan buildings in the heart of the city. I don't really want sidearms. I think we just want spears, don't we, really? So they're using 1 iron slab and 1 plank. I see. I think we might as well try and sort of like finish off our sort of spear militia. Does that mean someone else is separately like a shield maker? How do you produce shields? Oh, you need a joiner's workshop. Oh, it's hard work this is. Well, we need more families then, really, because we need to have at least 1 spare family. But we can at least start producing some sidearms, and then we can produce some spears, and then hopefully we can sort of fill out the rest of our militia. Well, a 23 out of 36 population, but with a little bit more of equipment we could produce them at least. Oh, and right on cue, a new family moved in. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That panned out nicely. So we want our joinery workshop to be producing large shields. Will that just uses planks? Use wooden parts. I don't know what we use wooden parts for. Oh, and small shields as well. Cool. But for now, no, let's get the large shields produced. We're going to just continue to expand our housing stock. It's remarkable once you get a few families move in, how sort of rapidly the housing ends up getting used up. So we'll just set some off on construction on the northern side of town, still pretty close to the market of the church. And I suppose we need to start to think about what else we're going to need. We are going to need a tavern at some point. We're going to need a stone church, and we're going to need some better clothes. Well, the stone church is really, I suppose, just a construction constraint. Do you upgrade an existing church? Yes. So what do you actually need for that? Clay tiles as well. Oh, God, we haven't even started mining any clay. We do have a clay deposit down here to the south of our village, And then I guess we'd have to have someone who turns that into tiles as well. So it's a little way off. But the tavern, I suppose the problem with this is going to need ale to function. And probably to produce ale we need barley or another form of crop which we can then convert into ale. Which is going to be quite a challenge, I think. We're already halfway through our iron deposit. This is going to be a major problem for us. I just don't know how much I suppose we're actually consuming. Maybe we can see on our supplies. Yeah, 37 iron ore and only 4 slabs. I just think we're going to end up getting through this iron really, really quickly. I just think we should probably have gone down this tree. I suppose that's 2 development points we need to get to be able to get deep mines. But then that would at least enable us to have basically an unlimited supply of iron, which would be really nice. Hey, and much needed new family just moved into a new plot, which is really, really nice. So with that, we need to get someone back on the saw pit. I forgot that I stripped some people out some of these buildings so they could work elsewhere, but we have completely run out of planks, which obviously is limited construction. But more than that, it means our joiners workshop can no longer produce shields because they need planks to do shields. So yeah, we're just trying to re-establish some of our production chain buildings, really. I wonder if in spring we would have enough time to quickly sneak in a little small barley field to try and get some production for beer so we can have a tavern. I mean, it'd have to be just sort of like down here because the fertility in the other areas isn't very good for barley. I think we might stick a field in and just have a go. We've got a good wheat field now, like done, planted, it's growing, not really a lot to do, maybe just a bit of maintenance. I just think it would be silly to not try and maybe get a field in down here. Just a little small field like that, nothing particularly big. Just get something like that. And then if we just set it as a barley field, you never know, it could be a good idea. Okay, so that is our iron mine literally done for, basically. So I suppose, well, we certainly might as well strip this person off here. We can throw him back on the stonecutters camp for a bit. Might as well just finish off that deposit as well, I suppose. So I suppose if we look at the map, we have, like, up here we have a rich iron. Wow, that is significantly larger than our little mini one. So that's, I suppose, what we need. We need these rich iron deposit and a rich stone deposit. That needs to be the next area that we go over to. I'm slightly wondering if we're starting to bottleneck ourselves a little bit by just having this one oxen. Because I guess things like this saw pit require oxen to go and gather the materials for them to be able to come out. And then, of course, we've got such a demand in terms of our actual production, because we need planks for the spears, we need planks for the joinery shop. I'm using planks in construction. I just wonder if that's starting to cause us a few issues, and maybe it might be worth considering trying to get another oxen, although I've not got enough money currently to be able to afford one, so it's of limited help. And that looks like that is the last of the stone deposit done as well. Well, I'm suddenly freeing up quite a lot of spare families now from things that they've never done previously. I mean, we could go and I suppose have a look at maybe just sticking up a basic mine on this clay deposit, if nothing else, just to get the resources, I suppose. New month, but I still don't quite have enough regional wealth to afford an extra oxen. Another 20. That would be nice to get. I think that's the next thing we need to buy, at least with our money. But at least the production of our military is going quite well. Look, we're up to 32 out of 36 in our spear militia division now. It's because we've obviously got enough equipment from our blacksmith and our joiner's shop to make it a lot more viable. So that is producing along quite nicely. So that brings our mining pit at least back online. And we have quite a lot of spare families, so in that sense, things are all good. But yeah, I'm just continuously being plagued by this lack of oxen now. I hadn't really realised how much of a problem it had become. And I've lost the hitching post. It's down here somewhere. There it is. It's actually become really quite a problem because this saw pit is almost never producing anything, because as soon as you place anything down for construction, then obviously the logs get carried over to that. But they need a log storage over here in the saw pit. I've tried to now issue a construction reserve, so hopefully when available, Thomas is now going to start to more continuously update this. But this, I think, is currently my bottleneck. I've just got no planks and I never seem to have any spare. On a plus side though, the snows are now starting to melt, which is good. The number of people moving in is really quite good. The number of families are going up really nicely. I'm actually really pleased about that. And it gives us a lot of spare capacity essentially for working families as well. Just need to get through a bottleneck and then all should be good. So this is interesting, something I don't quite understand. Why has this field fully reset? Maybe I've done something wrong, I'm not quite sure what, but it seems to have gone back to completely unploughed, unsown and all that, even though it sort of seems to suggest that autumn is when you're supposed to be ploughing and sowing crops. So, not quite sure why that is, slightly confusing. Ooh, we have a new message. Okay. Oh, so we're going to get raided in, well, 365 days. Okay, that gives us quite a lot. Oh. Whereabouts is this? Okay, quite a long way away. Wow, he's got quite an army. Mercenary archers. This is a little bit more concerning. These look considerably better than my little peasant spear militia, don't they? Okay. A marginal concern, I'll grant you. Hopefully they are not coming our way. Otherwise we may very rapidly be in trouble. Okay, these are now spring, so we should now have enough to buy another ox. So livestock order has been placed, and I guess it'll take it a while for it actually to get delivered. I've also now assigned 2 people to the sawmills, so hopefully actually some element of speedy production gets done. So we are basically now, well, we are completely out of iron ore and we can't produce any more because the iron mine is basically gone and we don't have a rich deposit here. So we might as well take this guy off the bloomery because there's really no other work that he can now do there. In turn, I think we will turn this place into a bower's workshop, and we're still short on planks, and get that going under there. Plank production doesn't seem to really that rapidly increased, considering that we've now got 2 people working there, and it sort of seems to be its own thing. It's a little bit disappointing. So we have a little Fletcher shop actually now built, so I guess they're just going to start to produce bows, I guess, from planks. So then at least we can maybe think about starting to get towards a bit of a unit of archer militia as well. Oh, so we're actually now starting to produce war bows, which is cool. So does that mean we can actually start essentially to recruit a unit of archer militia? We can. I don't know how, I'm probably missing something here. I wish you could sort of, it seems to split the recruits, basically the 40 people we've got between the 2 divisions. I wish I could like prioritise so one division got more recruits than the other, if that makes sense. The plank situation has got so bad, I'm actually just going to build a second saw pit. I just can't seem to get it to work in any sort of remotely efficient manner. And or the demand just for it is just too high. I also notice our fuel situation is slowly deteriorating as well. Although we've still got quite a bit of food, so that's good at least. We may have enough. Our berries starting to regrow. They are. We'll stick someone back on that forager's hut as well. Right, that should solve somewhat the housing crisis. Getting a little bit too modular really for my liking on here. But it kind of is needed, and they all get back gardens, which makes them good for use as artisans if we need them as well. So the farming situation is starting to look good. Our grain, forgotten the name for it, wheat, that's it. Our wheat field is looking good. I still don't quite know why it disappeared over winter, but anyway, it's replanted and it is growing, and we should have a harvest. And our barley field is, well, pretty much finished planting as well. So hopefully that will eventually solve our ale and our tavern problem. At least enough to get a few tier 3 Burgess plots put down. If we can first solve the wooden church problem as well. It just is not possible to produce enough planks to sustain the need. Because I think I've got these 3 artisans that all use planks. They use them quicker even than 2 saw pits can produce them. So, I mean, the only thing I can think can do is to produce a 3rd saw pit. I don't think the limitation is actually the stuff on them. I can put more people on them, but the problem is it's the time it takes to actually drag the logs over to the saw pit, and because they can only ever store 1 at a time, it's just a really inefficient way of doing it. So I don't really know what else to do other than just to build another saw pit. I think we just have to keep production going until we can eventually exceed the pull on the planks. Our clay pit is mining along quite nicely though, and I suppose we need to think about how we're actually going to turn that into tiles. That's probably going to be an industry. Clay to clay tiles. I suppose we might as well build this sort of vaguely down this end of town, because otherwise they're just carrying the clay for no reason. So we can get that built, and we've got a spare person we can put on that. And then that at least enables us at some point to then do our wooden church. Crikey, we actually have more than 10 planks at the moment. It's a miracle. Not enough for a manor house, but it's a miracle. Right, I quickly paused. We've managed to get to the miracle of 20 planks. I'm placing this manor house down before some goddamn spear maker, bower, or shield maker goes and spends my planks. I can't remember exactly how this worked last time, whether I want to be building this on the road or further inland and build up to it. I think we'll perhaps build it on the land here. I just want to give myself enough space to be able to expand, because I seem to remember... Welcome to the castle planner. New wings, towers. Okay. I vaguely remember them. Yeah, so I think we want to be a little bit further inland here. And I have not enough planks for add anything else even remotely. Place a road up to the front of it. But at least that's now going to give us a nice manor house, and then that's going to open up the option for other buildings and other bits to get done. Let's just get that built. This is the one goal for this video now. I just want to get this manor house built. Oh, our little clay furnace is finished off as well. Let's get someone in on there.
Let's get to work.
And that's going to need fuel as well. And then that should hopefully start producing some tiles, which eventually we can use to turn our church, our wooden church, into a nice little stone church. And we're now -1 on the planks. It is done. We have a manor house. Now we can effectively do taxation. We get influence. Oh, it's finally happened. So we can collect taxes. We can have a land tax. We can have a tithe tax as well. We can have a... Ooh, wow, it makes quite a difference to your approval loss, doesn't it? Although we have got quite an excess of families at the moment, so maybe in the short term it's worth it. I don't know if this is going to be a regional wealth increase or just a personal increase from taxes. To actually approve that, yeah. Nice. And then going forwards, we've also got access to the castle planner, where we can think about, you know, building gateways, walls and gates and things like that. I'm never going to have this many planks in my entire life. I only have 23. But you get the idea. Anyway, that is something to play around with for another video. At least we have our manor, even if it does look like a little bit of a cottage. But all in all, I think this has been quite a successful episode. We've been to war. We've expanded our village significantly. We're up to 25 families, a population of 77. And really, our armies are looking a lot stronger as well. Oh, and we even have a little retinue now as well. So, yeah, I would say things are looking pretty good. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys all on the next one.